E nós temos agora mais um convidado de peso aqui na nossa conversa, Mr. Dee Snider.
Hey.
Hello.
Hey, Dee.
Hello, how are you doing?
Good, great. Very good.
Okay.
Nice to see you, my friend.
Good to see you too. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Hey, Dee, how are you?
Life is good.
And Dee, what's your best memories about the photo sessions for the Stay Hungry cover? Was there a pre-established concept of how the band should be portrayed, or the photos started to appear spontaneously? And how was the cover photo chosen?
Well, my best memory is when it was over. Because it was 22 hours.
Really?
22 hours.
Wow.
We started at 11 o'clock on one day and went all through the night until 9 in the morning the next day.
Wow.
So that was very long, very long. And many different looks, many different shots, no makeup, you know, a lot of changes. And the album cover shot was taken in the last, what would you say, Mark, 5 minutes?
Probably 30 seconds, actually.
30 seconds.
It was the last photo on the roll of 36 photos. I mean, there was other photos from that where you're holding the bone and you're doing this, but that actual photo was the last one. It was like
the last
36.
one.
Yeah.
After 22 hours. And
wow.
We had finished all the shooting. And as I walked away from the set, Mark says what he always says, one more roll, one more roll, Dee. And back then it was rolls of film, you know, so, and a roll had 36 pictures.
Yeah.
And the
this
band
this is why you look like hungry.
Yeah, yeah. Hey, Paulo, I'm very angry. I did not want to do one more roll. I did not want to do one more roll. So the band had left and the room, and I said, okay, one more roll. And the one thing I did different was I touched that smelly, awful, horrible bone. The bone was just rotten and awful and gross. And but it was the end, and I said, oh, fuck it. And I grabbed the bone, and those 36 pictures, we start posing with the bone. Wow. And that last photo of me holding the bone in the corner, that was the picture. That was the cover.
Okay. But he
excuse me.
Oh, you let her do that? Okay.
Let her translate.
Yeah. Hi, Mr. Snider. I'm Candice, the translator. Hello. Então, o Regis perguntou, né, qual que era a melhor lembrança, né, que Dee Snider tinha da sessão de fotos, que acabou resultando na capa do famoso, lendário disco, né, Stay Hungry. E se tinha uma ideia pré-concebida ou se foi tudo meio espontâneo. Então, aí o Snider começa assim, que a melhor memória foi quando terminou aquela sessão de fotos, né, porque ela acabou durando 22 horas, começou às 11 da manhã e só terminou às 9 horas do dia seguinte, né, e tinha muitos looks diferentes, com maquiagem, sem maquiagem, né, os outros elementos, e aí até o Mark comentou, né, que a foto acabou sendo, a foto escolhida foi tirada nos 30 segundos finais da sessão, última foto do rolo de filme, né, e aí o Snider brinca que, às vezes ele estava indo embora, e aí o Mark dizia, só mais um rolo, e ele não aguentava mais, e aí ele acabou mencionando aquele osso famoso que aparece, né, e aí o Dee Snider disse que o osso estava podre, fedido, e tinha que encostar naquilo, e ele já estava furioso. Então ele começou a tirar todas as fotos com o osso na mão, né? E aí acabou resultando nessa foto lendária, mais uma foto lendária do Mark Weiss.
I don't speak Portuguese, but I could tell by her expression what she was talking about.
Yeah.
I knew when she was saying it was gross, disgusting, and I knew she was saying that. I'm going, yeah.
So while Dee, after I threw Dee the bone, he just didn't grab the bone. He started making noises like, you know, you just killed my best friend, you know, and like he was making animal noises, hitting holes in the wall, like being an animal. And he was kind of tame kind of earlier on out of respect to the band, because at the time he was kind of like holding back. And I had a feeling he was holding back, but I didn't know until when he came out there, he was holding back. And you know what? That's what we needed for that cover. I almost feel like it was meant to be, to hold back for those group photos and then to come alive. And I didn't expect the police to come and say, is everything okay? You know, after we were done, but you know, that was just part of it.
Let her translate. And then I want to tell you something about what Mark.
I would like also to know what is it.
Paulo, pera um pouquinho, deixa ela traduzir agora. Pera um pouquinho.
Ele vai para falar junto.
Não, tudo bem.
Tudo bem. Então, o Mark só estava ainda contando a história do osso, porque o Mark sentia que o Dee Snider estava meio se segurando, se controlando durante a sessão de fotos, né? Enquanto ele estava com o grupo, ele ia, e o Mark disse, não, ele realmente precisava represar toda essa fúria, esse lado animalesco, para soltar depois, quando tivesse com o osso na mão. Então, ele começou a se debater nas paredes e tal, até pensaram, meu Deus, vai aparecer a polícia aqui, né? Mas aí quem resultou, né, nessas fotos, esse lado animalesco, né, do Dee Snider.
I want to say about after that photo session, Mark's right. When I was with the band, I would hold back because I didn't want to be disrespectful to them. When I saw the photo session, many of the photos were ruined because Mark Mendoza and AJ Pirro were fooling around. They were giving the middle finger. They were picking their nose. They were ruining the pictures. And after seeing that photo session, I said, I will not hold back anymore, because I knew the band wasn't supporting me in doing the right thing. So I knew I had to always be a wild animal in the photo sessions.
O Dee Snider trouxe uma informação muito interessante, né, que os outros membros da banda estavam, durante a sessão de fotos, não estavam levando muito a sério, fazendo sinal, brincadeirinha, e ele diz que ele é que tinha que ter a visão da banda, né, e ele estava se segurando em respeito aos companheiros, mas lá pelas tantas ele disse, não, eu vou soltar o meu lado animal, vou me impor aqui, e aí que acabou acontecendo essa parte final.
Just a little question. Who did bring that fucking bone?
Oh boy, Mark brought the bone. Cut to 30 years later, my son was performing and Mark came to photograph him, Jesse, and he hands Jesse a bag. And Jesse opened the bag and inside is the bone.
No.
Still rotten, still smelly, still disgusting. He saved it for 30 years.
Oh my God.
No.
I don't believe that.
Listen, it was his, I think it was his son's like first video. And you know, I photographed Jess when he was in diapers, literally, when we did a Valentine's Day shoot with Jesse dressed up like Cupid. Yeah. And it's just a trip seeing them grow up. And, you know, at some point he wanted to be a model, then he wanted to be, you know, a musician. And of course I'm supportive. I keep my relationships going through the decades. And then when he had his first video and Dee said, you know, can you come down? I said, sure, you know. And then that's when I thought, I said, we're going to have Dee pass the bone. So we did a photo of him passing the bone. It was cute, you know.
Ai, que sensacional. Então, aí eles estão contando uma história ainda sobre o osso, né? que o filho do Dee Snider, o Jesse, então ele ia fazer uma apresentação e o Mark foi lá para dar um apoio, até o Mark comenta que ele sempre gosta de apoiar o pessoal da cena musical e tal, e aí ele estava com uma sacola, e aí ele entregou essa sacola para o filho do Snider, né, e ele disse, tá aqui para ti, eu estou te passando o bastão, né, tipo um movimento simbólico, e na verdade dentro da sacola tinha o osso, fedido, podre, inacreditável.
Mark, you still have some souvenirs of Twisted Sister behind you.
Oh yeah. The bone I gave away, but I kept the manhole.
I have the bone.
I kept the manhole.
Where is the bone? Where you have your bone? What is the bone in your home?
Okay, first, I had to boil the bone to get the meat and gross, disgusting, rotted flesh off of it. He didn't clean it. So I boiled the bone outside for like hours, and now it's in my office on the shelf.
Yeah.
Eu só vou traduzir essa parte para não perder a piada, tá?
Okay.
O Snider está dizendo que o Regis perguntou se o Mark ainda tinha alguns souvenirs do Twisted Sister, mas, né, e quem que estava com o osso, né? E o Dee Snider diz, eu estou com o osso, mas eu fervi, tirei aquela carne podre, limpei o osso para sair o fedor e guardei. E aí o Mark ia começar a mostrar, então, alguns souvenirs.
Mark, show us your Twisted Sister souvenirs, not the bone, please.
Oh, it's right here. This is it.
Ah,
That's the other side of this. Now, this, it's a pop-up, right? But this is supposed to be on the bottom side. So this piece here was about 500 pounds. And believe it or not, Dee was underneath it with a street. I had the street built, which is in my garage, of this street where it says this, all this. And I had Dee with his hand sticking out with this 500-pound, manhole cover that was a real manhole cover. My father was in construction, and I told him I was doing. He goes, "I'll make you one of those." And that's actually in the Hard Rock right now in Vegas. But yeah, so I keep everything. The bone, the manhole cover. I even have his the wrappings and the fingernails from the shoot. I'm actually just had them framed. It's going to be in a museum.
cool.
O Mark está explicando, então, alguns dos souvenirs que ele diz que ele guarda tudo que ele pode, né? E uma das lembranças que ele tem, então, é essa tampa de bueiro, né? Que é bem famosa, bem icônica, e ela pesa cerca de 200 quilos, né? Então, estava na garagem dele, daí tá aí, e até o Mark disse que o pai dele trabalhava em construção civil, e aí tinha uma outra tampa que agora faz parte do acervo do Hard Rock Café, acho que é Las Vegas ou Los Angeles?
Las Vegas.
Las Vegas, é.
Yeah.
Mas o osso, não.
Paulo.
What about the picture of Still Hungry? How it was?
Oh, still high. Yeah. So the original idea for the album cover was of Stay Hungry was very different. And it was supposed to be the band, the back cover of the album in the room, just like the back cover, but around us was supposed to be the band behind the band. Hungry. Do you ever Stay Hungry album cover? The backside of it, Mark, anywhere near you?
Yeah, here.
Yeah.
Here we go.
So right here. So this, the one on the left here was supposed to be on the cover, and then the one on the right was supposed to be behind us, like us in costumes, laid over it. But when we tried to put the picture together, that light bulb hung in somebody's face, I think my face. And there was no Photoshop to remove it. So we couldn't use the picture because the light bulb was blocking my face. You don't want to block this face. This is money. So then looking at the separate pictures, one with the band no costumes, and then one with the band like against the wall, it wasn't right. And as we looked further, we got to the very last picture of the very last roll, me with the bone in the corner screaming like an animal, and they said, that's our album cover.
O Snider o Paulo está perguntando, né, se a ideia original era essa mesma para a capa do álbum, né, Aí eles dizem que eles tinham uma ideia de fazer na capa a banda nessa sala, né? E depois na contracapa a banda atrás da banda, assim, daí com a maquiagem e tal. Só que daí na hora de tirar a foto ficou uma lâmpada bem sobre o rosto do Dee Snider, e aí ele diz que jamais uma lâmpada pode bloquear esse rosto de milhões de dólares, né? Então, não puderam usar, porque naquela época não tinha Photoshop, não tinha como, né, arrumar aquela foto, então eles optaram pela outra opção.
So, Paulo, the answer, Paulo, is when we did Still Hungry, because now we had the technology to remove that light bulb, and we put together the original cover as it was planned originally. So for Still Hungry, that was supposed to be the Stay Hungry album cover.
E aí, então ele diz que agora eles conseguiram, graças à tecnologia, fazer a capa exatamente como eles tinham imaginado para o álbum Still Hungry.
And looking back, I mean, the music is what sold the album, the band. I can't take credit for taking that magic photo. It helped. Every little bit helps, but obviously that photo with Dee holding the bone depicts on what Twisted Sister was about. Not, in my opinion, not the other photo of Still Hungry, which, it just didn't show the energy, but it was, I'm glad they did it for Still Hungry. It meant something. It was intended for the fans. I think they did it for the fans. And that's, yeah, it's history,
Iconic.
Yeah. Então, o Marco está explicando, né, que é claro que todo o sucesso do Twisted Sister é pela música, né, que eles se entregavam para os fãs, mas era a música que puxava a banda, que ele teve o privilégio, então, de participar da captura da energia que a banda já emanava, né, e levar isso aos fãs, e que a banda fazia tudo, então, pelos fãs, mas foi a música que levou a banda para o sucesso.
I got a question to Mark and Dee. And in your opinion, did the band at any time feel trapped within that image captured in the Stay Hungry cover?
Yes and no. Okay, yes and no. We always, unlike Kiss, we always showed ourselves with makeup and without makeup.
Yeah.
On every album. So we weren't hiding, and people knew what we looked like. So we weren't trapped there. There were some band members, Mark Mendoza, particularly, who never really was happy with the makeup and wanted us to try to get us to lose the makeup. As a matter of fact, right before Stay Hungry album, he had a meeting and he demanded a vote from the band that he wanted us to take our makeup off. After 10 years of wearing makeup, he wanted the band to take the makeup off. And it was a 3-2 vote. Mark and AJ voted, take the makeup off, the new guy, and they were the new members of the band, by the way. And me, Eddie, and JJ voted, keep the makeup on. But now, remember the photo session now, after this meeting, and Mark and AJ are doing this, they're doing this, they're making faces, they're ruining the shots because they were angry. The makeup shots, by the way, that's the ones they were ruining because they were angry. They wanted to take the makeup off.
Yeah, sim. O Paulo perguntou se a banda se sentia presa a essa imagem icônica, né, do Stay Hungry, todo maquiado, com aquele cabelo, todo aquele visual, né? E aí o Dee Snider diz que sim e não, que ele se sentia sim e não preso nessa imagem. Que eles, diferentemente do Kiss, eles não ficavam sempre de maquiagem, então os fãs viam eles com e sem maquiagem, então não tinha essa coisa de estar sempre maquiado. E até ele diz que depois de 10 anos começou a haver, né, uma situação com outros membros da banda que eles não queriam mais usar maquiagem E aí houve uma votação, o Mark Mendoza exigiu uma votação, e aí foi 3-2, eles perderam a votação, ele e o AJ, e foi aí que eles começaram a boicotar a sessão de fotos, né, porque eles estavam bravos que tinham que usar maquiagem e eles não queriam.
Congresso de Music Business. Tudo o que você precisa entender para transformar sua arte em business. Faça parte agora do maior congresso virtual de show business. Em esse congresso, eu convidei a grandes amigos que já fizeram parte da minha história no show business. Vocês vão ter aqui pessoas que são donos de casas de shows. Vocês vão ter aqui artistas renomeados mundialmente. Eu convidei muitas pessoas importantes. Trouxe todas elas. Com eles nós saberemos o caminho certo que deve ser trilhado. Quais foram seus acertos? Quais foram seus erros? E como que eles deram volta? E como se criaram as estratégias? Você não pode ficar de fora.
That's interesting because, you know, looking back at the photos, because I recently looked back at them before I, you know, had this when I was selecting the photos. I don't think there was one bad photo of them without makeup. No, none of that stuff was going on, you know. And look,
I just realized now, Mark, I just realized that only the makeup photos they sabotage.
That's so crazy. And the 3-2 vote thing, I've never heard that before. Is that, have you ever said that before? Because that's crazy.
Only recently I brought that up, but yeah, it was crazy because I couldn't believe after so many years of struggling and fighting with this look, and we had just done You Can't Stop Rock and Roll, successful, we were becoming international stars, and now they were voting to remove the makeup. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't believe it. I might have quit the band. I actually might have quit the band. If they voted to remove the makeup, I probably would have quit.
O Mark estava observando, né, que agora, sabendo de toda essa história desse desconforto com a maquiagem por parte do Mark e do AJ, que todas as fotos que eles estão sem maquiagem, todo o rolo tá ok, a sessão de fotos foi ok, mas na sessão de fotos maquiado, era ali que eles boicotavam, que ficavam fazendo gracinha e não levavam a sério. E o Dee Snider, ele fica surpreso, que ele diz que ele não consegue entender, porque eles já eram super bem-sucedidos, artistas internacionais, com aquele visual, já reconhecidos mundialmente, então ele não entendia por que eles exigiam tirar a maquiagem. E o Dee Snider disse que se naquela época a votação, ele tivesse perdido a votação, né, para ter que tirar a maquiagem, ele teria saído da banda.
And what about this picture?
Oh. That was the original Stay Hungry cover.
A new version of Mother Goose.
and that photo is the first time it's ever been unveiled in the book, because, you know, we did it, you know, Dee was great, you know, we come up with ideas and fun stuff, and he was just a great subject, and he would just be an awesome character. And
I think that was Mother's Day picture, right?
It was a Mother's Day picture, yeah. And the band is in the frame, and I think the finger is
So the finger was for Mark or was for the band?
Maybe.
Então,
how about it was for a Mark?
A Mark, yeah.
A Mark to Mark.
Eles estão falando agora sobre algumas fotos bem criativas, né, que o Mark conseguiu fazer junto com o Dee Snider, porque o Dee Snider trazia ideias, ele é uma figuraça, né, e essa foto que ele parece a mamãe ganso, que nem diz o Regis, né, é bem interessante porque na moldura tem o quadrinho da banda, né, e o Dee Snider está mostrando o dedo do meio, né, e aí os rapazes perguntaram, tá, mas o dedo do meio era para quem? Era para o Mark ou para o AJ? Ah, era para os dois, né?
Hey, somebody told Charlie that he's a drummer.
E aí, meu amigo e minha amiga? Gostou desse pequeno trecho que nós separamos para você dessa entrevista? Se você curtiu, você pode assistir na íntegra esse papo clicando abaixo aqui no link correspondente. Esse foi apenas um aperitivo. Você pode saborear o prato principal apenas clicando no link, pois aí você terá essa entrevista na íntegra, beleza? Então, recado tá dado. Abraço e saúde para você, para sua família e para os seus amigos.